Welcome to another video of Lord PeteyTV Plays. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be going through a couple of dungeons here, and what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking about what we do in certain situations and how we kind of fix them and went through it, how the bosses are dealt with, and so on and so forth. We're going to be dealing with multiple different classes. I would say it's going to be up to 5 or 6 different classes, but as of right now, we're prioritizing Druid and Monk, or I should say Balanced Druid and Brewmaster Monk. So please check us out. We're going to be doing a lot of other keys for other classes too. So we'll see you all soon. This is week 5 of season 3 of Dragonflight, and we're kind of going through the process here of trying to take care of fortified entangling and bolstering. And we worked on a couple of different classes. We tried to really push keys pretty hard this week, and this is kind of the results. The hardest thing about Everbloom is when you're pulling Everbloom in the beginning, you really need to pull quick and fast just to get through the first couple of packs. It really sets pace for the rest of the dungeon. Now, in this dungeon itself, I have a couple of people that I know. One person is a new person in the group that I've never ran with before, and I thought that he was going to be able to do a lot more damage than what he was doing. So it really did produce some problems for this run as a whole. But all in all, we went through and we kind of tried to DPS what we could do. I did overpull a lot more because I thought that things were going to operate a little differently, and I will take full responsibility for a couple of our full group wipes. But it being a 19 also, and probably one of the first ones that I've done on the Monk itself, and especially in Everbloom, I kind of had to learn those new falters.
Not help your actually hurts. All those out in the middle don't talk either, they're like free casting. Worthless piece of shit. Grinders. Oh. The worst part is that like you put so much time into it and you're like, I'm gonna have some cool and you get shit. This is neon ice. I thought it would be funny to use Tristan's hairbrush on his belly, and now he is laughing and he's picking up his shirt because he's wanting Sam to do it. I'm joining second boss. It's gonna be absolutely terrible. Personal experience, or? I mean, yeah, for personal experience, but also, it's 19 and... No.
Are you looking to support the channel? Please make sure you go to our merch store. The link is in the comments below. We have mugs, shirts, lots of cool things that we will love you to purchase and be wearing and supporting the channel. I greatly appreciate it, and thank you so much. When it's Tyrannical Week, we really have to make sure we're ending up pulling properly. We take this first boss, we pull him, and then we make sure we lust on him to DPS him down. But when we lust on him, we make sure we're doing it during his idle phase. The idle phase pretty much will give you enough time to be able to deal with it properly and being able to take care of whatever you need to take care of specifically for that pull and that fight, because you'll do the most damage then when he's weakened, when he's trying to bring the water in. And we try to make sure that we end up allowing the water to hit those things on the ground to prevent them from hitting the boss, so that we can maximize our damage. Boss. figured out last night how to hook my my Instagram onto my Facebook as a creator account, which allows me to hook it to sites that allow me to like mass post things. Oh my god, it's gonna make my life so much easier. Now I can post one like thing up on Facebook. Not Facebook, I'm sorry. Instagram. YouTube. TikTok all at the same time.
Yeah, I know how to do the Facebook and Instagram one.
It's like I found one of the few sites that will do all three, and I'm just like, yeah. The TikTok one was hard to find a one that did. As always, just wanted to make sure you know we partner with Sub2R for our gamer glasses, our green screens, our camera mounts, our cameras, all of those enjoyable objects that we end up using while streaming for our long gaming sessions to help increase our quality of our streams. So make sure you use Lord PeteyTV at sub2r.com when you end up going there and purchasing some of this amazing gear.
One group, not two, correct? This one was the one that we missed last time? This group I'm pulling right now? Yeah. Did you pull all the plants after the first boss? That's what we're doing right now. I think I have the outside. I pulled both groups. Pulled both? Yeah, I don't think we're gonna need both. I just think we just need one. That should be good.
During the week, we really needed to make sure we kept an eye on what was being pulled, how much was being pulled because of the spiteful affects on this dungeon, not so much as the other stuff. Once we ended up getting ourselves together, figuring out how to do the damage for it and kind of keeping everything together, it worked out kind of easily. But the one thing I will say is that having spitefuls hitting the tank is not really cool. So when people are doing that, it really does screw up the tank a little bit because you can vanish or you can shadow meld off the damage. But other than that, we end up pulling all the mobs really, really nice, smoothly going into the next boss.
Should not have done this. Yeah, I'm gonna need something after this. Got 5% out. And I realized it, so I said I should have waited. No, that's more away. You can do it! Have you seen the reviews for that new wrestling movie with Zac Efron in it? Those guys look huge. Alright, I'm ready. I legitimately look like I'm scared for like my life if I was ever met those guys at a bar. You don't pull that group that I'm looking at right now, right there. I think that's too much. No, I think we pulled it last time. Are you guys skipping any at the end there? No. I think that they like changed some of the percentages of some of the mobs because like our Atoltazar route that we use, like both times me and him were we were short like 2% each time. This one. Did you get your popcorn ready? Do you now for next bowl? Just let me start drinking. Then once I sit down, I thought about it many times, going night elf, just so I can shut him all out. I want to be a night elf mohawk! Hey Ash, how you doing? Can you get, the Life Warden? The air up on it?
Make sure you end up checking out our other channels. We have a sister channel called Gaming Fire with Lord PeteyTV, which we end up giving you some specific gaming news that is popping up here and there throughout the whole entire week. And then make sure you're also checking out our Stories with Lord PeteyTV, where we end up giving you little short stories that he's handwritten throughout the whole entire week, which we think you'll greatly appreciate. Thank you so much, and check those out. And hit the subscribe button here when you are ready. So how do you keep yourself hydrated over those long gaming sessions? Here at Lord PeteyTV, we end up using Rogue energy drinks. That is what we use here. We end up drinking those throughout the whole entire sessions. Please make sure you go there and use Lord PeteyTV at checkout when you end up purchasing some of those amazing drinks. So we had a handful of problems with the first couple of pulls with this boss. The biggest issue was that we really were not properly watching our DPS on the in the interrupts, and also making sure that we weren't moving properly to get out of the out of the explosions and so on and so forth. So it really hurt us a lot, and we knew we weren't going to time at that point, but we knew we wanted to make sure we cleared the dungeon and took it out. So we kind of kept going with it. But at the same time, you really need to be aware of where you're standing. If you're standing anywhere near any of those bosses that need to be interrupted, either for the Toxic Bloom or the Revitalize, it's going to cause nothing but problems for you. So you really need to keep an eye, and you really need to properly DPS and go through it. This boss really, not even the boss, I would say more so the dungeon itself, it really frustrated me, but it really taught me how to properly hold down my cooldowns and so on and so forth, to kind of learn for the future of when I did these pulls.
What the fuck's going on?
3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1.
Oh, I logged in. I got very confused for a second. Because I was in the Racial Night Elf cat farm.
1.
I was like, did all my farms reset again?
Three, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1.
Does he not get the revitalize ability anymore?
2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1.
So box me to a corner. Let's come over here. Nobody puts PD in a corner.
3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1.
Be really careful when you're pulling the assistants. There's not really much more or less I can say other than just be careful because you can very easily pull the certain ones that cannot be CC'd or hurt, or the ones in the center which do a lot more damage on with like a pack you think is a normal 3 pull. You pull those other 3 on top of it, you got a 6 pull, and those guys are going to do a lot more damage than you're normally used to. So you have to be really be aware and really notice those.
Come back to the ones. Alright, yeah, you have to with you. Interrupts. They're waiting for that entire time. Come on, 5 wants to. Got one. Yeah, I'm done one.
The funny, interesting thing about this boss is when we end up pulling them, we lust it, and then we just kind of go for it. The reason why I think this is kind of a interesting boss is that I almost always have to mentally do call outs for myself, saying, oh, fire's coming and frost, or arcane fire's coming. And the reason for that is not to inform other people, but it's pretty much just for myself to know what I'm doing and make sure that I'm aware of everything that's going around. If people end up dying to like the frost or the fires or things like that definitely during tyrannical weeks, because you will get one shot with almost any mechanic, it's really difficult to deal with specifically. When it comes to the arcane portion of this fight, I try to put myself in a position where I'm going to get pulled and not be pulled into a frost or pulled into a fire or anything like that. So I'm really careful when I end up doing that. Watch.
Good evening. Shalom.
Hello? Stop it.
Jimbook, you gonna take it or no?
Yeah, she doesn't need to. I'm gonna touch him right now.
I mean, we got three. So.
I normally do not do this for bosses with the speed for the video, but for the sake of you all watching it, I just put speed on it because this fight was super long and it was actually very mentally taxing on myself because the DPS was not nearly up to what it should have been. So we end up, dealing with as much damage as possible for this boss. I end up putting him in position, and we kind of end up doing it. We do get a really high burst in the beginning, but we end up losing a tank right off the bat, and then after that we kind of are essentially formatting this dungeon, and one of them is just a paladin, and we're trying to be careful with certain things. So we end up CCing things properly, and we end up making sure we're continuing to run over the leaves and just DPSing them down, and we're able to do that. It's just one of those long, grueling fights, not only mentally but physically, because you have to actually sit there and be focused the whole entire time. So be very careful on when you're doing this fight on Tyrannical, and make sure that if you can end up doing it, make sure you have the DPS for it. Don't just think you can walk in here like it's going to be an easy fight.
waited to pull this guy. They have more health. Did you tell Grandma about the augmentation book, or the not augmentation book we read yesterday? No. His name, I guess he changed it after season 1. Oh, he said he didn't. He said it was the, he said that's what it always was, but I don't think it was. Yeah. But his name is literally not augmented.
Thank you so much for taking your time out and checking out the amazing videos that we are ending up producing here. Now, just a reminder, we end up putting videos out throughout the whole entire week involving our Mistweaver Monk, our Brewmaster Monk, our Boomkin Druid, our Guardian Druid, our Combat Rogue, and many other classes throughout the whole entire week. But please make sure you come and check us out. We are doing this every single week, live on twitch.tv every single Monday through Friday. Please come check us out. Subscribe to our YouTube page here and our sister pages. And if you're looking to support the channel, you know where to find it. Thank you so much, and have a fantastic rest of your day.